So why do you think it's important for, especially young athletes or athletes in general, to have some type of brand or business that they can build, especially while playing the sport?
Personally, I believe like a starving artist can create. So like for me, being a basketball player is like being an artist. So you know, I get to create and bring things from inside of myself out into the court. I mean, that's what an artist is. You take things from inside and bring it to the world.
Right.
So when you're a starving artist, it's hard to do that. Like I feel like anything below your needs being met is like desperation. So if you're trying to create and you in a situation where your needs ain't being met, you're going to do things that you wouldn't otherwise do in a situation where things are being taken care of. Like, for example, a lot of guys in their pro career, it's going to come a time where you're not going to have a contract.
Yeah.
Or it's going to come a time where you might not be making what you want to make. But then you start making decisions on your career that you probably shouldn't make out of desperation.
Right.
You probably go to a country you shouldn't went to, or take some money you shouldn't have took because you don't have nothing else in your life feeding you and your family besides basketball.
That's right, yo.
So I think, you know, if we could leverage things in our life, our experiences, different things that we bring to the table, take your intellectual property and turn it into whatever it is, a video game, a clothing line, book, podcast, something to do something with your creative talent when you don't have basketball or whatever that might be. I just think it just adds more, not only to the universe, it makes you feel better, and it's something you can make money off of. So, for example, if you're making XYZ off of your brand and you don't have a deal, you're not going to trip as much. You're going to continue to grind until the right thing comes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also, like, in sports, I feel like, you know, we slaves. I had somebody tell me who, you know, I respect, who works with a lot of athletes. And they told me, like, you know, an actual player is the least important person in the whole business of sports. The player is at the bottom of the totem pole. You get the breadcrumbs. So with that being said, we slaves. We can be thrown away at any time and get replaced. But if you have your own situation, say you're already making money and you playing ball somewhere making money, end of the day, it's a job. We can't forget that. We love it, but it's a job. So if you're already making money on your own, and say you're in a position where they ask you to do something that you don't want to do, and they kind of try to leverage your job or you getting sent home, you fine. Because, okay, I'm already making enough money at home to cover my expenses and my lifestyle, or something I control. You know what I mean? Because in this game, you don't control anything but the way you react.
Exactly.
That's it. So I believe, you know, just in general, being an owner, you know what I'm saying, making some money on your own, not being a slave, I think it changes things and changes your perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I could do whatever I want with my brand. Like, who's gonna tell me I can't?
Right.
That's a different level of power. As basketball players, like most ball players, not hustlers.
Yeah.
Most ball players is used to sitting around, waiting on the opportunity, having somebody tell them to go here, here, here. You know, and then when they cut that water off, you stuck with nothing.
It's a fact. and that's the thing. You never want to be too dependent on one thing. And I think that, especially with sports, especially basketball, a lot of people don't know when you play overseas basketball, you may have a practice or two during the day, but you get a lot of free time. I mean, a lot of free time to the point where, like, I didn't watch every show on Netflix, almost. Yeah. So, and this is in the past, and I didn't really try to create anything or build a brand or anything, but it's a blessing to have a time in your life where you could play the sport you love and not be obligated to work 40 hours a week to something. You know what I mean? And you're just doing something that you love, and you don't have to put too much thought process into it. You have a lot of free time to just do what you want. And like you said, a lot of ball players don't take advantage of a situation like that because they don't realize how good they have it. And a lot of ball players will go do this for 10 plus years and got nothing to show for it but a little bit of money that's constantly depleting. And then they'll go work a ordinary job Nothing wrong with it. However,
it's a big change.
It's a big change. Yeah, exactly. And you got to start from you're starting basically like a 22-year-old.
35.
But you're 35, and you got to build your way up in a company.
Yeah, and there ain't nothing wrong with none of that. Like
no, not at all.
It's just opening your mindset. Because like, think about it. This is how fast stuff moves. Okay, you're 17, 18 years old, getting ready to go to college. Now you in college. That 4 or 5 year period goes by just like that. You've been told what to do, where to go, how to think, what classes to take for the last 4 to 5 years. And then all of a sudden, somebody's been paying your bills. All of a sudden, that water cut off. You want to go play pro. So then you turn around and you like, how do I do that? But I also don't have nobody paying for stuff no more. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer living on campus. Now I'm back at home with moms. So it's like, you go get a job or you go play ball. So now you're trying to get overseas. You're at the bottom of the totem pole. Guys like me and Cam or Josh Bostic or Scooty Penn or whoever, they taking a lot of money. They got 5-6 years of experience. They're going to get looked at first. So now you down here with it and you wait. There's nothing you can do to control it. There's nothing you can do besides stay ready, put yourself in front of people, and maybe have a great agent. But outside of that, you can't force a team to say you're the player that they're going to choose.
That's a fact.
And then you can't tell them how much money you're going to make because it's based on their budget. You can only tell them based on what they can offer how much you're going to take. Mm-hmm. So at that point, your whole life, you just been taking what people can give.
That's a fact.
Or what they're willing to give.
Yeah.
So it's like, you start to finally realize, hey, dang, it's a business. Dang, I'm working for them. Dang, I have no control over my life. So it's like, I feel like if you start something or, embark on some type of creative journey, that it'll alleviate a lot of that pressure.
Yeah.
It'll give you some joy for being a creative. It'll teach you a lot about business that you're going to need to learn anyway.
Yeah.
So I say, try to take some type of control of your destiny into your own hands as much as possible, because if not, they're going to rock you like a boat until you tip over. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was some of my experience, and a lot of guys' experience, I feel like.
No, that's definitely true, bro. Those are gems right there, man. And like you said, you've seen it as well, where a lot of guys are very stressed when they're home and they don't have a job. And I've been there plenty of times where your days and you, of course, when you play pro ball, you got a lot of people coming up to you and saying, what you doing next? What you going? Where you going? And hearing that and knowing that you're not doing anything, and especially if your job is playing basketball or whatever sport you're playing, when you're home, you're pretty much unemployed at that moment. And so it could be a little bit debilitating. Like you said, if you're living with your parents and you have nothing to really look forward to, or you have nothing you're really building.
And what people don't understand is, like, how hard this business is. Like, you got people around you that might be like, well, why don't you just go work that 9-to-5 job and get a second job? It's like, I can't just go overseas out of shape. Mm-hmm. I can't just go overseas halfway ready, because in this business you get one shot, 2 at the most. And if you fail, you're done. Yeah. So it's like, if you go over there out of shape or not hitting or not mentally ready, they don't care that you had to go work for your family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, regardless if that's getting a job that fits your situation where you can still train and still make money, that's the best way. But also, don't just work and not create something on your own. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't have the means, do something. Get the business plan together. Get the steps together, so when that money comes, you can, just put stuff in position. So I just say, I know it's tough because it's only 1% of people in the world that do this.